Hey guys and girls, it's Jeff with NetTuts.com. Today's October 15th, so that means it's the screencast of the week. Though for some of you this may not go up until Thursday because, as many of you know, today is Blog Action Day. So congratulations to everyone that had a hand in that. Alright, so today we're going to be focusing on working with the Google Maps API. Now I've had many emails from people a little confused as to why they seem to have trouble getting it to work. So let's go ahead and look at what we're going to be working with. Let's go to maps.google.com. I'm sure you've seen this around. Instead of just having a static map, maybe for your website or for a template that you're creating for ThemeForest, you can actually create a dynamic map. So let's do a search for where I live, Nashville, Tennessee. Do a search. And it brings dynamically a map of where I live. It has this nice little pop-up bubble. It has many different modes, which is very nice. I could go to satellite mode, and that's going to actually take satellite photos and create the map for me, which is awesome. You've probably seen that with Google Maps. Really incredible. You got this zoom tool. You can zoom in and zoom out. And then, of course, you can just click and drag, and you can just browse through the world. So, very, very cool program. There's an API that you can use to implement this into your own website. So most likely you'd be using it for maybe a client where they need to be able to allow users to visit the contact page and immediately know exactly where they're located. And using the Google Maps API just allows for a much easier way than just, maybe a snapshot or a ping or a JPEG of the location. So let's go ahead and create this for our site. I'm going to open up my solution, and I have a blank website. All that I have is just my standard jQuery file. To be honest, we may not even use this. So whether or not I do, you can easily perform this without the file. So if you're not into that library, don't worry about it one bit. All right, I'm going to go ahead and create. I'm going to go ahead and create a new blank page. And we're just going to call it index.html. It's fine. All right, and let's go into the code behind. Now, the way we're going to do this, as with most of my tutorials, we're not going to have any extra markup. So I'm not going to go ahead and design a site. We can do that another time. I'm going to keep this as bare bones as possible. That way, you can download the source code and immediately dive in, and you don't have to worry about extracting any extra information that's not necessary. So within my body element, I'm going to create a div element that's actually going to be the wrapper for my map. So we'll call div ID equals my map. And let's add a style sheet. I could do this inline, but I guess it's best to practice best practices. So I'll add a style sheet. But realistically, it's probably not even necessary. All right, let's do my map. And I'm going to give it a width and height value. And this is actually going to be the values that the Google API uses to determine the width and height of our map. So let's set a width of 800 and a height of 300. Now remember, you don't have to worry too much about these values. Obviously, in your website, they would need to be set to fit, your container or your content section. But it's not like anything's going to be clipped off if you change the height to 200. It simply just means you're going to have to scroll more. So that's a nice feature. And I'm going to drag in my default.css file. But like I said, that may be the only thing we implement as far as CSS goes. But this is mimicking a real website. So I'm going to drag in my jQuery file as well. Okay, so that's all the initial markup that we actually need. The next step is to actually get our Google Maps API and then create some scripting. So I'm going to go into Firefox and I'm going to visit code.google.com/API/maps, and this is where you can actually get your specific key. Now, what I mean by key is the way they have it set up. In order to implement Google Maps into your website, you need to sign up for an API key. Now, it's very free, but keep in mind that when you download the source code, my source code isn't going to work completely on your website, and it's because that API key is configured to work specifically on mine. So what you will need to do is come over here to this website, sign up for a Google Maps API key, and then import that script file into your document in place of mine. So let's just go through the run. I've already done this, but we'll go through it one more time. So click Sign Up for Google Maps API. It's going to give you just a few specific features that you can go through on your own time. I've read and understand the agreements. I'm going to enter my website. We'll just do my demo and template site, jeffway.com. Generate API key. And it's going to say, thank you for signing up. It's going to give me my unique key. And then it also gives you this sample website. So you could copy this if you want, paste it into your document and run it. I'm not going to do that. But what I am going to take is this script src right here. Now this contains my unique ID, my unique key. So let's copy that, come back to my document, and paste it in at the bottom. And it's pretty long, so it's going to wrap, but that's okay. All right, now the next step, we just need to write some JavaScript. We'll do this inline to keep it, all in one. But of course, you'd want to remove this to an external JavaScript file if you're using quite a bit. So the very first step is to do the document ready. So we'll do function. Now, you've seen this many times. It simply means when the document's ready to be manipulated. I'm going to copy this as best as I can. Document is ready. That way, for when you download the source code, you can have everything commented. So the first thing we're going to do is an if-else statement, and we're going to write if gbrowser is compatible. And that's just saying if the browser that the user is using to access that map isn't compatible, then we need to let them know, maybe through an alert or something, okay? But truthfully, you probably won't have to worry about this. Almost all of the browsers in recent memory cover it. So if gbrowser is compatible, run some code, and then else. So we'll do else. I'll just do an alert for now. Upgrade your browser, man. Okay. Now within the within the first if statement, what we're going to do is we need to find our map and set that as a new instance of a class called gmap2. So we'll say var myMap is going to be equal to a new gmap2. Show you that might need to be all caps. I'm not positive. So var myMap equals a new instance of this gmap2 class, and then what we're going to pass in is a path to this div right here. So let's just store that in a variable. Var map equals document.getElementById myMap. Okay, so var map equals new gmap2, and then in parentheses, we're going to pass in the path. I could just put document.getElementById in here, but I'm not going to. And I'm just going to pass in the variable that I created that's equal to document.getElementById myMap. All right, so now we've told the gmap class where our div or where our map is going to be placed, and it's going to pick up those height and width values. The next step is we need to actually set a center. Now, that just means where do you want the center of your map to be located, and you're going to use latitude and longitude. So you would want to find the latitude and longitude of your client's business and then paste that in. So what we can do here, and you know what, I'm just going to make this a little bit simpler. I'm going to change it to M, just so I don't have to write my map every 5 seconds. And I'm going to do map m.set center is going to be a new GLATLNG, G latitude, longitude, and then within parentheses, I'm going to pass in the latitude and longitude marks. And then lastly, you're going to pass in a zoom level, and we'll just do the standard 13. Pass in latitude, longitude, and zoom level. All right, let's go ahead and find out the latitude and longitude. Just go to Google and open up a new tab, and I'm just going to search for find latitude and longitude coordinates. This looks like the one I did before, but I'm sure any of them will work. And you just simply type in your city and state, or city and or country, whatever, and they will actually give you those specific values. So I'm going to enter Nashville, Tennessee, hit go. Okay, and it's going to generate my latitude and longitude respectively. So I'm just going to take those, copy them, and I will post a link to this website in the article portion. So let's go back to my map, and within the G lat long, I'm going to hit Control V to paste that information in. So now I'm going to go ahead and copy these files over to my server and view it in the browser. So I have Fire FTP loaded. I'm just going to take Google Maps and copy it over to my server. And we'll click Overwrite since I already have my test version over there. And let's go ahead and view it. And this should be enough for the basic map / Google Maps. Okay, it looks like I have one error. Let's see what mistake I made. GMAP2 is not defined. Okay, let's go back. It's probably that it should just be GMAP2. Sorry about that, I couldn't remember correctly. And I think that should take care of the problem. Let's go ahead and copy them back over again. All right, I'm going to hit Control F5 to refresh the page. All right, and there we have our map. Now, it's the most basic form of the map. I can still click and drag. But even in its most basic, it's a fantastic map. It's going to do much better than your static. Let's look into adding a few more features, though. Let's go over here, and under m.setCenter, let's add a few more things. We're going to add maybe a couple controls where we're going to add the zoom control, and then we'll also add an option where they can switch to satellite mode. And the way we do that is, excuse me, let's do var c for control equals new gmap type control. And this is going to allow us to switch map modes. And then we're going to go to our map.add control, and we'll hit C. Okay, and then let's also create a section where they can zoom in. So I'm also going to do m.add control, and it's going to be new gmap. Actually, I don't think that's right. It's new, let me check. Yeah, new G large map control. And this will create the zoom feature. Okay, what else should we add? We can add, remember that pop-up bubble that we saw at the very beginning? We can add that. So if you want to have like a little talk bubble that says, this is where our business is, or their address, whatever you want. And the way we do that is we do m.openInfoWindow, and we're going to pass in a parameter, and there's actually a few you can choose from. And if we want to go to satellite mode, it would be G_satellite_map. And this sets the default mode. Now your other options are G_, I believe it's normal map, and the other one is going to be G/hybrid map. Hybrid map is a mixture of static and the photos, and then of course satellite is complete satellite photos. So that takes care of setting the different mode by default. Right here, the GMap type control gives the user the option of switching, so they can dynamically switch from static to satellite. This one sets it on load, which one it's going to be. Okay, kind of got sidetracked. Let's go back and take care of that talk bubble that I was talking about. And the way we're going to do that is m.openInfoWindow. The OpenInfoWindow property is that little talk bubble that I was talking about. And in here, we're going to pass in the location, and that's going to be m, the map that we created a variable for, and it's going to be get center. So it's going to get that center point that we set right here. So up here, we set center at those values. Now here, we're going to get those values. So m.getCenter, and then comma, document.create text node. And within parentheses, I'm going to pass in whatever you want displayed. So I'll just put, this is our business. Displays the text. And we've added a bunch of features. I'm going to hit Control S to save, and let's go ahead and copy those files back over and see our new value. And actually, I want to do one more thing first. Let's set the height value a little bit higher. Let's do 800 by 550. All right. Get that, copy it back over. Hit Control F5 to refresh the page. All right, and it looks like I made one error. Let's see what my typo was. Open up Firebug, missing parentheses after argument list. Did I leave that off? Let's see. Document.create text node. Yeah, I did. Just forgot to close off the parentheses that was created at the beginning. Sorry about that. Do it again. All right, hit Control F5 one more time to refresh the browser. Firebug should be clear by now. And there we go. There's our map. So you can see now we have this zoom functionality. Also, the user could just double-click to zoom, but they may not know that. We can switch to satellite mode. So pretty cool. Let me refresh the page and make sure that that talk bubble came up. I might have made another typo. I always do that. Yeah, I must have. A.lng is not a function. Okay, let's see what mistake I made. Sorry, I'm doing these from scratch, so I made some stupid typo. Let's see. So we have m.setCenter, so I need to set up... Oh, yeah, of course. How did I do this? Sorry, I was sidetracked thinking about the talk bubble when I moved over to changing the display mode. So it's not m.openInfoWindow. That's only for your little your talk bubble. Here, this would be I think it's GMap type control. No, what is this called? It's m.setMapType. And there we go. Now it's working perfectly. We got our talk bubble. This could be, the name of your business and your address. Switch between the map modes and switch between the zoom. So let's just go back and go over this one more time. First, if the browser is compatible with the API, so if the browser is compatible with Google Maps, and you can download the source code and go over all the commenting. So if the browser is compatible with Google Maps, we're going to get our div element, and then we are going to set a new instance of the gmap2 class and pass in our div location. Then we're going to set the center using that website we found to set latitude and longitude marks. And then 13 is equal to the zoom level. So if I wanted it higher, I could change it to 16 and it'll zoom in. You can base that on what you need. m.openInfo window. This is going to get the center of the location that you set, and it's going to create a text node called This Is Our Business that will create that talk bubble. We're going to set the default map mode to satellite. But by default, if we didn't add this parameter, it would be set to just G normal map. Or you can create a hybrid. Then we're adding to allow the users to switch between satellite and regular mode. We created a variable called C called new gmap type control, and we added that control to our map. And then finally, we added another control called G large map control that allows for that zoom functionality. And then lastly, if the user has a browser, that's 6 or 7 or 8 years old, then we'll give them an alert that says, upgrade your browser, man. So that's it. Not too hard, was it? Made a couple typos, but that's what happens when you do these things live. But we have a nice map. You can implement it into your website easy as pie. With your CSS, you can change it to whatever you need. So let's just say I only need the width to be 200 by 200. It still works just as fine, although that zoom is a little too high, but you can change that. But not for this lesson, so we'll raise it to 400, works perfectly. Increase the width to 1,000, and it works just perfectly. So that's been your screencast tip for the week. Stay tuned, and if you have any requests for screencast, just leave a comment. And if you have any questions, leave a comment. And if you enjoyed this, please dig it. And also, while I have you still watching, if you haven't pressed stop yet, while you're at it, do me a favor and subscribe to our screencast video feed. I just added this a couple days ago, so it'll allow you to keep up to date on all of the screencasts that we publish. And then lastly, if you are a web developer, consider checking out themeforest.net. You can be an author or a buyer. By becoming an author, you can sign up and you can sell your themes. Many people are making incredible amounts of money already. We've been this site launched maybe 2 or 3 months ago. We already have, I believe it's like 81,000 members. We're getting submissions every day. People are making great money. So if you have those extra templates that maybe you created for a client that never happened or anything, just kind of reformat them for to be sold as a theme, and you can start making some money easy as pie. It comes in every day. You don't have to do anything after you upload it. So very important. Check it out. Also, check out the blog at themeforest.net. Subscribe to that too, if you don't mind, and if you're interested. We do very similar articles to NetTuts. Like here, we have a great article by Dan on the flexibility of WordPress. Just lots of great stuff. So thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye.